Check, 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 check.
Everything on, oh, thank you. I hate turning this mic on. Try to keep everything orderly here tonight. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Trustee Zalik?
Here.
Trustee LaRocca?
Here.
Trustee Giesers?
Here.
Trustee Frusaloni? Here. Trustee Shorzy?
Here.
Trustee McCarthy?
Here.
Mayor Severino?
Here. Please stand and face the flag. I pledge allegiance Is there a motion to approve the minutes of our September 16th, 2019 special workshop?
So moved. Second.
Moved by trustee McCarthy, seconded by trustee Swarzy. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Zalik?
Aye.
Trustee LaRocca?
Aye.
Trustee Giesers?
Aye.
Trustee Frusaloni? Aye. Trustee Shorzy?
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy?
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of our September 16th, 2019 village board meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by trustee Giesers, seconded by trustee Frusaloni. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Zalik?
Aye.
Trustee LaRocca?
Aye.
Trustee Giesers?
Aye.
Trustee Frusaloni?
Aye.
Trustee Shorzy?
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy?
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of our September 30th, 2019, 9 a.m. special workshop?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by trustee Zalik, seconded by trustee Frusaloni. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Zalik?
Aye.
Trustee LaRocca?
Aye.
Trustee Giesers?
Aye.
Trustee Frusaloni?
Aye.
Trustee Shorzy?
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy?
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of our September 30th, 2019, 6 p.m. special workshop?
So moved. Second.
That was confusing, I got to tell you. Moved by trustee LaRocca, seconded by trustee Gieser. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Zalik?
Aye.
Trustee LaRocca?
Aye.
Trustee Giesers?
Aye.
Trustee Frusaloni?
Aye.
Trustee Shorzy?
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy?
Aye.
Everybody get ready. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Approval of the minutes of our September 30th, 2019 special board meeting.
Second.
Moved by trustee Gieser, seconded by trustee McCarthy. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Zalik?
Aye.
Trustee LaRocca?
Aye.
Trustee Giesers?
Nay.
Trustee Frusaloni?
Aye.
Trustee Shorzy?
Aye.
Trustee
Rick's not fast
Aye.
enough.
You get one more.
But not release executive session minutes of our September 30th, 2019 special board meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by trustee Swarzy, seconded by trustee Frusaloni. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Zalik?
Aye.
Trustee LaRocca?
Aye.
Trustee Giesers?
Aye.
Trustee Frusaloni?
Aye.
Trustee Shorzy?
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy?
Aye.
All I can tell you is I look out and I see some smiley faces, and that's a lot different than what we've had here for the last couple of weeks, so. First thing on our agenda here is a resolution honoring Ed Saylor upon his retirement from the village of, we did that. Village of Carroll Stream Police Department. Whereas Ed Saylor began his employment with the Village of Carroll Stream as a patrol officer in the police department on March 12, 1986. And whereas Ed Saylor was promoted to sergeant on May 7, 2001, lieutenant on April 6, 2009, deputy chief of police on May 3, 2010, and chief of police on February 17, 2015. And whereas during his career, Ed Saylor has served with distinction as chief of police, juvenile officer, evidence technician, officer in charge, field training officer, detective, and detective sergeant. And whereas Ed Saylor has received several commendations and awards for his service of the police department and community. And whereas under his leadership, the Carroll Stream Police Department remains recognized for its integrity, professionalism, staff development and training, empathy, and commitment to community relations. And whereas Ed Saylor has served the Village of Carroll Stream with distinction for 33 years. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and the Board of Trustees of the Village of Carroll Stream, on behalf of all former and present elected and appointed officials and residents of Carroll Stream, as follows. Under Section 1, the services and dedication displayed by Police Chief Ed Saylor to the Village of Carroll Stream and his accomplishments in the field of law enforcement are hereby recognized and commended. Under Section 2, Ed Saylor is wished the very best of happiness and health in his retirement. This resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage approved by law, passed and approved this 7th day of October 2019. Motion?
A motion.
Oh, there you go.
Second.
I think we got a motion from John
Second.
Zalick and a second from Matt McCarthy. Clerk, call a roll.
Trustee Zalick.
Aye.
Trustee Baraka.
Aye.
Trustee Giesers.
Aye.
Trustee Frusaloni.
Aye.
Trustee Shorzy.
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
Each?
Oh, he'll make a speech.
First, you got to get the hug. That's right. It's an Italian thing.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for everything. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you, sir. Thanks, Mark.
And there's more where that came from.
There's more where that came from.
Right away, the other Italians got to steal my wines. Okay.
Up here.
Oh,
Yeah, where are you going?
Oh, wow.
Come on, Joe. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there.
That's right, right.
All right,
Sorry,
no worries.
ladies first.
1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3.
Check one.
Thank you very much.
Now the floor is all yours.
all right. Sneak around. Yeah. Check. You all hear me? I hope. I didn't write nothing down, but I can tell you this is probably the hardest speech or talk I've ever had to make. You know, I still remember the day I got hired and the long journey it's been. It's been 33 and a half or so, great years. A lot more good times than bad. You know, I was thinking what I should say, what I shouldn't say, and all of that stuff. And someone told me, you know, just speak of some stuff that you're proud of and things that you've accomplished and leave it at that. And, you know, outside of getting hired, believe it or not, my proudest moment was being detective sergeant. You know, I never aspired to go any higher. And it just, pieces fell in place, one thing led to another, and the mayor thought enough of me to appoint me chief. You know, I remember some of the things that we did, some of the cases we worked. You know, there's a handful of cases that were national cases, I'm very proud of that. Unfortunate circumstances, so it's kind of ironic to say you're proud of it, but, you know, one of my partners got to travel all over the country making speeches about it. And stay here. You know, another case where nobody else wanted to work. And me and my predecessor, Chief Orr, decided somebody had to do it, and after several months of hard work, still in the news today, you know, I'm very, very proud of that. I'm proud of changing how we are now more global, for lack of a better word. You know, we have people now consistently in the FBI, consistently DUMEG, and all these other agencies. Proud of all the work that we did in the community. A lot of public relations. I've gone out personally and did a lot of things, many of which I really didn't talk about or promote for various reasons. And, you know, some of them is at the request of the people I talked with and communicated with. Very proud with, you know, being part of the DuPage Chiefs of Police and all the work we did on the opioid issue. All the work that we did being leaders in this cannabis issue. All the awards our department has received. And that's not a personal issue. I'm proud for the department that they were able to dedicate themselves to get all these awards for AIM and MAD and to Department of Transportation for being the safest cities for 6-7 years in a row now. It wasn't me doing it. You know, I'm proud because our people put forth the work and the effort and was out there every day doing it. I'm just proud, seriously, to have been a part of this organization in this village. You know, it's a long time to be in one place, more than half my life. You know, I've been here longer than my kids were alive. Not longer than, nothing's longer than marriage. I'm just saying. Just saying. But, you know, all you guys, you know, have done a great job. You know, proud of the fire department, believe it or not.
I'm impressed.
You know, we were the first in this whole area to do this rescue task force, working with the fire department in case there's an emergency. And now it's becoming a thing. But we were pioneers in that. Again, you know, leaders in doing that. When I was thinking of what to say, I've had several people in the last week tell me an instance or two where they said that I changed their life or I changed their career here in the department. And I'm very touched by that. And a couple times, you know, had some, you know, tears welling up. And that's what makes me proud, is that I was able to do something for everybody here. You know, many of you have said that I was a leader. You know, I can't tell you what a leader is. You know, a leader is one of those things that you just know or see. I can't describe it. Because we all know who can be one, who is one, and we know those who aren't. And, you know, personally, I'm glad, maybe almost in a conceited way today, that just about everyone here has said that to me in the last couple of weeks. And it's very humbling, extremely humbling. I try to do things, you know, the right way. You know, I said the other day, there's the difference between doing things right and doing the right thing. And I've always tried to do the right thing. And sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. It hasn't. You know, I always believed in servant leadership. And I think just about to a person, when you came to me with an idea, I went with it. And there were times where I went back and forth whether I should do it or not. And I can't even only count a couple of times where I really said, no, we can't do it. But you don't let your people go and let them do what they can do, they're gonna be stifled. And you guys had one idea after another, and I said, okay, and we went all these great things, and they pat me on the back. But it's not me, it was always you guys. So in closing, the last couple of years have been pretty difficult. It was very difficult when we were in two different places, and I think that's very underlooked. It was extremely tough, but we had a good partner over at Glenda Heights, and we made it through, and it's one of those things where, because there weren't a lot of outward problems, people think it's easy, but it wasn't, so I'm proud of that. So, I guess this is it. I want to say thank you to everybody again. One thing that has always bothered me, or was always on my mind, especially the last 7-8 years, was whenever we were doing something special, we had some operation, I was always thinking about you guys and hoping nobody would get hurt, both physically and emotionally, mentally. The job is getting harder and harder. It seems like every month there's something comes down, and it gets more difficult. And mental health for officers and families are finally starting to become recognized. I'm proud that we started, albeit a little late because of me, our wellness program. And I hope all you guys take advantage of all the things that we're doing. All you spouses out there and children, I said it a couple times, I'll say it again. Only the ignorant say that you guys knew what you were getting into. My wife was a police officer, and, she still gets her little ways. I know that's hard to believe. But it's true. And I can tell you right now, my daughter and my son, they grew up in the family, but, the days missed, the holidays missed, the phone calls that you get at family dinners and holidays, and, I can't tell you how many times I had to leave some sort of function, even a softball game, and I'm on the phone half the time. And so you guys don't know what it's like. So I want to say thank you for that. So all you guys are great. You guys are all my heroes. I have to do this. This is the one thing I thought of before. But, my personal heroes, seriously, is my family. I want my brother here, Bob, to stand up, please. This is my little brother. He spent, raised 3 kids. He spent the majority of his life raising my nephew who had severe issues and disabilities. And he dedicated his life to that boy. And that takes sacrifice, and that takes somebody special. So, you're a hero. My other brother, Steve, 20 years in the Marines. And children, and he's got now physical issues now because of all his work. I got my mommy. So she raised us. She is, for most of her life, she was partially deaf. Now she's almost all deaf.
You think
And it was, yeah, you only hear the things you want to hear. And my dad, who's no longer here, he was 100% deaf. And they raised us to the best of their ability, and so thank you. Thank you for that. My son, who couldn't be here, very proud of him. He's another one. He grew up with hearing problems, speech problems, and bullied a lot through school. And it took a while for him to catch on because of those issues. And of all things, ironically, he graduates from college being a music educator and a music teacher. So now he's only playing music, but he's teaching and always talking in front of kids, 8 hours a day. So he couldn't get off today because he just started a brand new job, and they won't let him come in here from Quincy, Illinois. My baby. Many of you know Saren. Saren gave us the shock of our life, not only the day she was born, the day she was conceived. Still checking. But in 2011, right? In 2011, she had a extremely large brain tumor, size of an avocado. And luckily, Dr. Brayton, neurosurgeon, did an excellent job, as you can see. And so she's had to go back a couple times for laser surgery and that. They didn't have to crack her open again. But it's going to be a lifelong battle. But she was the epitome of, always putting on a happy face. And she is my little hero. So this is my daughter. And, right? We know. Yeah, the bitch from hell.
That's here she is.
Bettina, my wife, we just got married, or we just had a wedding reception, 25 years on Sunday. So we it's been a lot of good times, a lot of bad times, a lot of one-sided arguments. It's one of those deals where she yells, and I just sit there. And that pisses her off even more. Because when you're Sicilian, right, anybody's Sicilian here, you gotta yell back, otherwise they're not happy. But she stuck through it thick and thin, through a lot of my down times and times when I came home and I was just upset about one thing or another. I can't tell you. I always said to everybody, don't take homework with you, don't. Well, what I did is I went home and I just shut up for the most part. I shut down. I didn't really talk about anything, which is the wrong thing to do. So I let her do all the talking. And she kept the family together. She took a lot of time off and she raised pretty much the kids by herself, while I was here. So with that, I can't think of anything else unless somebody wants to make fun of me for something. I did have a brand new suit picked out, but they gave me this on Friday. So I felt obligated, I had to wear it. Because, I am GQ. But anyways, thank you for everybody, for everything. And again, please take care of your families. And, keep fighting a good fight. You guys are the best department by far. You proved it time and time again. And I'm sure after I'm gone, it's even going to get better. The culture changed dramatically. And it's up to you guys to keep it that way. So, anyways, thank you very much. And, and what? That's what I said, Rusty. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you again.
You're welcome, Chief. Thank you.
Final check. Right. I agree with you.
Thank you, JJ. Okay, the next thing on our agenda here is a proclamation, October 20th to the 26th, Friends of the Library Week, and Trustee Geiser has asked if he could read that.
Thank you very much. This is a proclamation proclaiming October 20th to 26th, Friends of the Libraries Week. Whereas the Friends of the Village of Carroll Stream Public Library work to ensure that our library is the cornerstone of the community, providing opportunities for all to engage in the joy of lifelong learning and connect with the thoughts and ideas of others from history and into the present. And whereas the Friends understand the critical importance of well-funded libraries and advocate to ensure that our library gets the resources it needs to provide services to all ages, including access to print and electronic materials, expert assistance in research, readers advisory, children's services, and exceptional programming. And whereas the Friends raises money that enriches our library, providing the resources for additional programming, much-needed equipment, support for summer reading programs, and special events throughout the year. And whereas the Friends volunteer at the library throughout the year, demonstrating their dedication to the library's mission with their gracious and welcoming nature. And whereas the Friends' gift of their time and commitment to the library sets an example for all in how volunteerism leads to positive civic engagement and the betterment of our community. And whereas October 20th to the 26th, 2019 is recognized as National Friends of Libraries Week by the American Library Association and United for Libraries. Now therefore be it proclaimed that Mayor Frank Savarino and the Carroll Stream Village Board of Trustees, DuPage County, Illinois, in the exercise of its home rule powers, do hereby proclaim the week, October 20th to 26th, 2019, as Friends of Libraries Week in Carroll Stream, and urge all citizens to recognize the contributions made by members of the Friends of the Carroll Stream Public Library and thank them all for what they do to make our library and community so much better. Proclaimed the 7th day of October, 2019.
Thank you, Trustee Geiser.
And I have the presentation. Should I present that to them?
Yes, absolutely. Would somebody want to come forward and get
Members
that
of the Friends of the
presentation?
Library here?
Come on, don't.
All of you.
Come on,
All of you come up.
Yeah, all of you. Hard to get it.
The Friends has more than one friend?
Yes, we actually do.
They are the
We're
friends.
a friendly group.
Excellent. Very nice. Well, why don't we get a photo here?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. We'll do one more. 1, 2.
You know what, a better idea? Why don't we all come up here? Get everybody.
That'd be good.
All right.
Good thing I renewed my life.
It's a good exercise, getting up. That was silly. Waste. It's great. Steve's helping me.
Come on in.
You guys come to the center. Okay.
No, no.
Yeah, did you go first?
Thank you.
I'm the lot.
Right by the mayor.
The taller ones could stand in the back, that's all.
Okay.
Right. She's letting me go first. I'm gonna take a couple, everybody smile. Thank you.
We're not done. Oh, we gotta get the official photographer.
1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate the recognition.
Thank you.
I'm still working on it.
Okay, we'll tell them. The next thing on our agenda is a representative from the village's auditing firm, Sikich, will present the comprehensive annual financial report, better known as CAFR, and management letter for the year ended April 30th, 2019, in accordance with the Public Act 098-0738, which became effective January 1st, 2015. These documents will also be posted on, to the village website at thecarrollstream.org. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Baytek. Will you want to introduce him? You're introducing yourself. He ain't moving. What do you got? Arthritis or what? Come on.
We have with us Brian Lefevre, who's a partner with the firm of Sikich, and he's the engagement partner on the village's audit, which is typically, again, our fiscal year ends April 30th. Field work, we're out at the village offices for the better part of 2 weeks looking through the books, so I'll turn it over to Brian.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John. On behalf of Sikich, I'd like to thank the mayor and the members of the board for inviting us here this evening to present some brief comments for you on the report resulting from the audit of the village for the year ended April 30th, 2019. Within the comprehensive annual financial report, you'll see 3 sections: an introductory, a financial, and a statistical section. The financial section is what's required under Illinois compiled statutes for an audit. The introductory and statistical section is what makes it a comprehensive annual financial report. It gives you a lot of additional information, and it's the most transparent presentation of an audit report. Within the financial section, the first page in the financial section is on Sikich letterhead. This is where we've given our opinion on the financial statements. In order for us to give an opinion on the financial statements, we're required to follow 2 sets of standards. One set of standards are the auditing standards, so the procedures that we perform when we're conducting our audit are promulgated by the American Institute for Certified Public Accountants. It tells us what procedures we need to perform when we're conducting an audit. Second set of standards are the financial reporting standards, so what this document needs to look like, and that comes from the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, or GASB. Once we follow those 2 sets of standards, we can then give an opinion on the financial statements. We're pleased to present an unmodified opinion, and what that means is that the financial statements are presented fairly in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, those GASB standards, free of material misstatement. And this is the highest level of opinion that you can receive on your financial statements. In addition, you'll see it contained within the comprehensive annual financial report towards the back of the financial section is also the opinion that we've given on the village's compliance with its TIF district. So we gave an unmodified opinion also, so that's saying that you've complied in all material respects related to the provisions in the TIF ordinance of the state. You'll also note an additional paragraph in the opinion on page 2 this year. There was a new GASB pronouncement. Middle of the page there, it's referenced GASB Statement 75. So this is basically a similar standard, and this relates to retiree health insurance, similar standard to a few years ago when those pension liabilities came on the financial statements. Now the OPEB or retiree health insurance liabilities are also on the financial statements. The document just past the independent auditor's report is the executive summary. It's the management discussion and analysis. If you don't read the entire CAFR, I'd encourage you to at least look at the management discussion and analysis. This is where you get to give explanations of your own financial statements. The village prepares this. We review it to make sure it's consistent with the GASB standards and with the statements themselves. So I would encourage you to read that. Just a couple financial highlights to bring to your attention. You'll find on page 11 of the report the revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances for your main operating fund, your general corporate fund. So you'll see that information there. You're structurally in balance for the year, meaning your revenues were in excess of your expenditures. And then your fund balance is also in compliance with your fund balance policy. If you turn from there, the last piece of information, I'll show you where it's at, which is pension information. It begins on page 63. So you participate for your non-sworn officers in the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund. And there's two ways to look at the health of a pension fund. One is, are we putting in the required amounts recommended by the actuary? And then the other piece is, how are we doing financially? So as you know, under IMRF, it's a statutory provision that you put in each and every month a percentage of payroll based on the actuary's recommendation. And in the 2019 column, you see you put in the exact same amount as what's recommended, which is what you're always going to see with IMRF. And that correlated to about 13% of payroll. So you're doing exactly what you should be doing. Then on page 64, you'll see information that goes through December 31st, 2018. And the plan was 81% funded, which is that lower right-hand corner there. Down from the prior year, but that was a result of measuring everything as a market value as of 12/31/18. The markets had a decline right towards the end of 2018. So when you draw a line in the sand, as of that day, the market value was down. Also, in conjunction with that, just happened to be the perfect storm in December is when the IMRF board approved a reduction of the interest rate assumption on the investments, which contributed to an increase in the liability. The last piece then is the police pension plan on page 65 and 66. The police pension fund, you get a recommended contribution from the actuary, and each and every year the village is putting in what the recommended amount is from the actuary. So you see those results on page 65. And then on page 66 is the financial position of the plan, and the pension plan went from about 61.6% to 62, just over 62%. And given that it was tough, the measurement for the police pension fund is at April 30th, so you had a different window of time to measure those investment results. So holding its own at 62%. Those are the highlights of the comprehensive annual financial report. The audit went very smoothly. The village staff are very professional, ready to go when we're working out here, and it is an inconvenience to the staff here, and they take that very well, and it's a very good professional process. Everything is on time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Well, one thing I always liked about what you're doing, I think you also do the Water Commission, is you send that private individual letter to all of us, ask us if there's anything that we're concerned with that we might see going on. It's very discreet, and I appreciate that because it gives everybody an opportunity, if they did see something, to tell you, and then you could take it from there and what to look for. So I really appreciate it, and you really do a great job of putting the numbers together. I know our finance director helps a lot to give you the right numbers, but the audit is very important to us, so I just want to say thank you.
Well, thank you for the feedback, and that ties in directly with the beginning of what I was talking about in terms of those audit standards, because that's part of the process. And it's how we assess risk within the audit, so appreciate the feedback. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions on the audit?
Oh, it was very easy to read. I actually read the whole thing last night, so thank you so much for the hard work that you put into it every year.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's
You're very
it.
welcome.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks.
See, John, all that hard work paid off. Okay, the next thing we have is a proclamation designating October Manufacturing Month. And being he's in the manufacturing business, Trustee McCarthy asked me if he could read that.
Proclamation designating October Manufacturing Month. Whereas our country, our state, and our community were founded and developed on manufacturing. And whereas manufacturing has held a prominent place in the Carroll Stream business community since its inception. And whereas manufacturing employs over 56,000 people in 3,500 different businesses in DuPage County, and manufacturing is the fifth largest industry in the county, accounting for 1 in every 10 jobs. And whereas Carroll Stream is a desired location for manufacturing businesses based on its proximity to major expressways, major arterial roadways, O'Hare International Airport, and DuPage County Airport. And whereas Carroll Stream is home to more than 100 manufacturing businesses totaling over 4 million square feet of space in a variety of industries, including automotive parts manufacturing, food production, metal fabrication, paper processing, commercial cooking equipment manufacturing, and packaging material manufacturing. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Mayor Frank Savarino and the Carroll Stream Village Board of Trustees, DuPage County, Illinois, in the exercise of its home rule powers, do hereby proclaim October 2019 as Manufacturing Month in the Village of Carroll Stream, and call upon the community to celebrate and acknowledge the contributions manufacturing has made and continues to make to our community. Proclaim this 7th day of October, 2019.
Thank you, Trustee McCarthy. The next is a proclamation designating October National Planning Month, and Trustee Zalick is asked to read that.
Proclamation designating October National Planning Month. Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, townships, rural areas, and other places. And whereas community planning and planners can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work, live, and play. And whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be equally involved in making choices that determine the shared vision of their neighborhoods. And whereas the full benefits of planning requires public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation. And whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America and its territories. And whereas the American Planning Association and its professional institute, the American Institute of Certified Planners, endorse National Community Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight the contributions sound planning and plan implementation make to the quality of our neighborhoods and environment. And whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of the Plan Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals, and other citizen planners who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of the Village of Carroll Stream. And whereas we recognize the many valuable contributions made by professional community and regional planners of the Village of Carroll Stream and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to public service by these professionals. Now therefore, be it proclaimed that Mayor Frank Savarino and the Carroll Stream Village Board of Trustees do hereby proclaim October 2019 as Community Planning Month in the Village of Carroll Stream in conjunction with the celebration of National Community Planning Month. Proclaim this 7th day of October 2019.
Thank you, Trustee Zalick. The next thing is addresses from the audience. Did we have any? Being we're going through this cycle, if there's anybody that wants to speak, 3 minutes, if you would like to speak about anything. I see people came in. Nobody? Okay. We'll move on to the meeting. Is there a motion to establish a consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by trustee McCarthy, seconded by trustee Giesers. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Zalik.
Aye.
Trustee LaRocca.
Aye.
Trustee Giesers.
Aye.
Trustee Frusaloni.
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz.
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, would you please read what is on the consent agenda?
Certainly. Under staff reports and recommendations, number 1, receipt of the comprehensive annual financial report and auditor's communication to the Board of Trustees of the Village of Carroll Stream for the year ended April 30, 2019.
Received.
Yes.
Yes.
Number 2, storage area network replacement, Nexen, award of a contract to Nexen in the amount of $52,399.
Yes.
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 Under new business, number 1, amplification permit request, holiday tree lighting.
Yes.
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 And number 2, raffle license application, Roy DeShane Elementary School PTA.
Yes.
Yes.
Under payment of bills, number 1, regular bills September 17, 2019 through April 7, 2019.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And number 2, addendum warrants September 17, 2019 through October 7, 2019.
Yes.
Yes.
And on a report of officers, we have the treasurer's report, revenue expenditure statement, and balance sheet, month ended August 31, 2019.
Received.
Received.
Is there a motion to put those items on the consent agenda?
Second.
Moved by trustee LaRocca, seconded by trustee Swarzy. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Zalik.
Aye.
Trustee LaRocca.
Aye.
Trustee Giesers.
Aye.
Trustee Frusaloni.
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz.
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve those items by omnibus vote?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Swarzy, seconded by trustee McCarthy. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Zalik.
Aye.
Trustee LaRocca.
Aye.
Trustee Giesers.
Aye.
Trustee Frusaloni.
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz.
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
Report officers, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sorry, voice is going.
I know you don't feel good.
Yeah, I just want to congratulate Chief Saylor on his retirement, and I wish him all the best and a long, happy, healthy retirement. Also, I want to take this time to thank the staff for all the work that you do. We've had the last week, we've had some budget workshops and potential property tax workshops, and the presentations that the staff made, you could just see how much work they put into it and the preparation that they went through. All their answers were accurate, and it was like it was scripted. They knew exactly what to say, and they know exactly how to do their job. So to the staff, I thank you all. Thank you very much. And also want to thank all the people that came out and got involved. And there's going to be an election next November, so almost a year away. And there's no better time to start telling people that you have to get out and vote, do your homework, and get out and vote. And with that, I'll end my report.
Thank you, trustee LaRocca, and that's good advice. Thank you. I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Trustee Giesers.
Thank you very much. I, too, would like to congratulate Chief Saylor for his 33 years of service to the community of Carroll Stream. And if it was any indication of what this room was filled with, so many friends and family, co-workers, colleagues from other departments, he's truly a rich man and will have a very, very pleasant retirement. So congratulations, and I wish each of us would be so lucky. So congratulations. Couple events coming up throughout our community. We do have a July 4th parade fundraiser coming up tomorrow at Culver's on Schmale Road. It's all day long, so hopefully you can stop on by at some point during the day, and the parade committee will receive a portion of the proceeds to help put on the parade. Also, another event coming on that's become much beloved within the community is our Halloween decorating contest. It's ongoing right now. As you can see, many people are putting up their decorations. The deadline to nominate either your friends or families or your own home is October 21st, and you can send that to, you want to tell us, Tia?
Decorating contest at carolstream.org.
And we've got a number of nominees already. We're going to be making why don't you describe what we're doing for the website?
We'll be working with our IT department and our GIS specialist to put together something called a story map. So this map will allow everyone to follow along with all the fun, different decorations that are going to go on in Carol Stream.
So you can go on your own mini tour of the hauntings of Carol Stream. So come and take a look at that. And also to end my report, just like Trustee LaRocca, I'd like to thank everybody who have come to the meetings on the proposed property tax and thank you for attending. Thank you to the staff for all the hard work put into it, especially because we had another big event this weekend with our water reclamation open house. So thank you for being able to do it all. And thank you, everyone, for attending. That's my report.
Thank you, Trustee Gizer. Trustee Swarzak.
Thank you. Ditto to Chief Saylor. I made some comments at the last meeting on how highly I think of him. Being in this similar line of work as a firefighter, I know how valuable it is to have a chief that does the things and has the attitude and has the emotions that Chief Saylor has. And you can see the attendance, he has the respect of his troops. He has the respect from the board and the mayor, of course. He has the respect of the staff. He has the respect of the firefighters who know him well from working with the police department for all these years with him. Most importantly, he has the respect of the citizens of Carol Stream, and that's why we're all here. So he's a class act, an outstanding police officer, outstanding police chief, and an outstanding human being with a wonderful family. We were really blessed to have him here, and I, for one, will really miss him, and I know everyone else here will too. So, speaking of the police department, thank you to the police department for coming out to our fire district open house. Boy, what an extravaganza. We had, I've been involved in that for 20 years, and we had the biggest turnout this year than we've ever had. We estimated approximately 1,500 people, and the police did a great job bringing their rollover simulator, and I tell you, they didn't get a break, as did nobody. We served close to 1,000 hot dogs, and ran out of popcorn, ran out of juice, ran out of coffee, ran out of cocoa, ran out of prizes. But not till the very end, so it turned out really good. But the PD did a great job. We're really happy to have them there, and I'm sorry I missed the WRC open house. When I retire, I promise that's the first thing I'm going to do is go see that. Did you want to share anything with that, or was someone else going to share? I don't want to steal anyone's thunder. Was someone else going to share something up here? Okay, Phil?
No, just it was a great success. I know we had patrons walking between the two events down Coon Road. The rain held off. We're estimating close to 400 people ourselves, and ran out a lot of stuff, including pumpkins as well, but just a great day all around.
Very good, thank you very much. And a ditto, like the other trustees had mentioned, thanks to all the residents who came out to be part of our workshops and offer their suggestions. And if they didn't offer suggestions, just being here listening and educating themselves. Those who watch it on YouTube, those who offered their input on social media, it's all really appreciated. We obviously heard a lot, and we have a lot to talk about. So, and I will end my report just reminding everyone, please shop in Carol Stream. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Trustee Swarzak. Trustee Zalick.
I would also like to congratulate Chief Ed Saylor on a well-deserved retirement. I was going to ask to read his proclamation, being the officer that I was, with his department, but figured I'd get, someone would pull rank, because everybody likes him, and I didn't realize it would be the mayor, but that's fine, that's fine.
Paused too long. You can't do that.
But he will be missed. As he said, he mentored so many. I remember one of my first traffic stops, everybody in patrol would call him Easy Ed, because he never really, he would always stay calm, and never, the highs and lows, there were no peaks. It was just like Easy Ed. And I remember one of my first stops, I was alone, he was shadowing me, and, I thought I was all cool. My first stop, I called it out at Timber Ridge and Morton. And the dispatcher is like, they don't intersect. And I'm like, so I gave the guy a break, whatever it was, and the Sergeant Oakland was all like, where is he, where is he, where is he? So I gave him a break and I ran to the street sign. So if someone actually saw a police officer in 1993 running down the street, that was me. And Ed's like, I see him, he's fine. And I look around and it's nowhere to be found. But, Easy Ed, and he was my training officer, we worked side by side in patrol. During my career, he was my sergeant, my lieutenant, my deputy chief, and chief when I retired. And the award-winning department is because of him. He is a leader, and he likes to say, I don't know what a leader is, blah, 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 but he is. He's a fellow Sox fan. I had season tickets with him in section 158 for the Sox for 10 years, and it was the best. It was so much fun. We'd go on baseball trips. We went to New York. We went to Boston. We went to Kansas City. So yeah, he's a baseball fan, but more importantly, he's my friend. We became very, very close friends, and I got to get him golf lessons, that's for sure. But also, I want to thank the residents also who took the time to come out and attend one of the 3 meetings or see them on YouTube and give their constructive input. It's much appreciated. And finally, with it being October, I'm wearing pink because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. My mom had it twice, and several good friends have had it. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows that early detection is the best defense. 1 in every 8 females will develop it through their life, and 1 in every 1,000 males will. So just because you're a male, early detection is the best defense. And with that, I will conclude my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Zalick. Trustee Frizzaloni.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also want to congratulate Chief Saylor. I won't share any stories because I shared them privately with him on Friday at his ice cream social, which was a ton of fun. I actually took home, they had homemade suckers, and I said to my son, because it had his picture on it, I said, would you like a chocolate sucker? And he's like, is it edible? I go, oh yeah, it's very edible. He didn't get the joke. I said, his name is Ed. So it was a very nice send-off for him. He will be missed, but we have an amazing police department, and I have every bit of faith in our police department that we are going to move forward, and we are going to continue to be award-winning, and we're going to still continue to be the very best of the best. I truly believe that. Thank you to the residents that have reached out, and there's been a lot of residents that have reached out to us in the last couple of weeks, whether they were able to attend the special meetings that we've had in the last week, or they've reached out to us personally through social media, stopped us to talk to us. I've been stopped at the grocery store and talked to. It means a lot that people are reaching out to us and that we're having good conversations. This is not an easy process for us, and while the advice that was given to us is to not take it personal, it is very personal to every one of us on this board. You're our friends, you're our neighbors, you're our families. So we do take it very personally. And the conversations are going to continue, and I have every bit of faith that this board is going to make the very best decision for every resident in Carol Stream. The last thing that I want to talk about is, as an extension of the Carol Stream Police Department, we have a phenomenal volunteer group. And I would be very remiss if I didn't mention just what an amazing group of volunteers that we have. Not only do our volunteers, we send out an email that says we need help, and there's more people that say, yes, I can help, than we have spots to fill. And that really speaks volumes, because not every town is like that. Last week, a week ago, was it September 30th? I can't remember, no, it was the 24th, sorry, the following Saturday. We have a CERT team, so a Community Emergency Response Team here in Carol Stream. We are in our 11th year. We just started our 11th class last Thursday. So we put together a team of 12 people from our CERT team. We have approximately 80 people on our CERT team, and we went and we competed at the Prairie State Challenge. I was one of the 12 team members that went to compete, and we competed against CERT teams that really are the best of the best in the state. We knew who our competition was. We got together as a group. We trained for several hours on a Sunday, and we went through everything by the book. We are a group of friends who knows each other. We know our strengths, we know our weaknesses, and we went out, and after having a 3-year hiatus because the state funding wasn't there for the Prairie State Challenge for the last 3 years, we hadn't trained as a team. And we were a little nervous about that. We kept pumping ourselves up, getting ourselves psyched up. And I'm really very proud of this group of people because we were able to come in second place. And we came in second place by 1 point. And forever and ever, we will debate that 1 point. And we did. And we still continue to debate it over the last week. But it's an amazing group of people because we would go from station to station, and they would say, "Who are you? Which group are you with?" And we would say, "Carol Stream," and they'd say, "We know about you. We've heard about you." And actually, one of the events that we were doing, one of the competition events that we were doing, was judged by a Chicago police officer, and he knows us. And he was exceptionally hard on us when he was grading us and told us, "I expect better from Carol Stream. You guys did this." And it was a minor thing. And he said, "I'm holding you accountable because I know how good you guys really are." And that really it was the highest of compliments. So congratulations to our Carol Stream CERT team. And if you don't know what our CERT team does, it's really just disaster preparedness. And in our town, we've used our CERT teams, our CERT members, for many different things. So congratulations to our CERT team, and thank you to our police department for supporting us. I mean, this is a program that was developed by the police department while we do the trainings, and a lot of the classes are held over at the fire department. Thank you to the fire department. It's a dual training. Some weeks the fire department is training on topics, like Trustee Schwarzy is going to be doing fire suppression, and then the rest of the time it's the police department. So thank you so much for always having our back. I mean, we've got your back, you guys have our back, we're a team, so thank you very much. And with that, I will end my report.
Thank you, Trustee Frizzaloni. Trustee McCarthy.
First off, Chief Saylor, we're going to miss you. I think everybody in the department and the village will miss you. I believe the police department is an absolute reflection of Chief Saylor, and when you look in that reflection, the first thing you see is team. You don't hear him talk about what I did, what he did. Everything he talks about is we and them, and that says a lot about a leader. So congratulations, Ed. Seeing him at all the DARE graduations, it was actually, I always loved watching him get up. The rest of us get up and talk on the microphone. Ed walks right past the microphone, looks at the kids and talks to the kids. He doesn't talk through them. He doesn't talk over them. He has a conversation with 400 kids at the same time. Makes it short and sweet and makes a great impact. So things like that is what gets missed inside of a community when somebody like Chief Saylor leaves. But I do want to congratulate him in his retirement. It's well-deserved. As everybody else has said, thank you to the residents who come in for these meetings on our budget. An engaged community is a stronger community, And the more people we have engaged and talking with very constructive questions of where we're at and where we're going, also makes us a better community and a better board. So I do want to, we really want to say we appreciate everybody who comes in. Public Works, great job on the open house. It was a blast. It was a good time. Fire department, it was a lot of fun too. You guys do a great job there. I still think Greg should have to do his puppet show at his report of officers one of these years. It would entertain us. Besides that, everybody just, again, fall's in full swing. Check your storm gutter, your storm drains and things that can flow in there. Good time to make sure your yard doesn't have anything laying around that can clog it up, because that's what can cause floods. You can now get the leaf stickers, which are, they're not the same price as the lawn stickers. They're, Tia? That's okay. But you can get them now for putting your leaves at the curb for recycling, because I think we're going to see a lot of leaves over the next few weeks. Have a good week, have a good month, and that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Trustee McCarthy. Madam Clerk.
Yes, I'm sorry. I just wanted to also congratulate Chief Saylor. I did grow up somewhat in a family of a police officer. My stepfather was a detective for the Oak Lawn Police Department, and I was much older when he came into my life, but I know it was hard on my mom. So I know the families don't get a choice in the matter, so I completely understood where he came from. And then, other than that, I just wanted to just keep in our military and first responders, all the people who keep us safe, we need to remember them and pray for their safety.
Thank you, Madam
Thanks.
Clerk. Mr. Rhodes, you're back with us. It's good to see you, our village attorney.
Thank you, sir. I am pleased to report that Mallory Maluzzi had her daughter last Tuesday. To show you what a sense of timing she has, she went on maternity leave on Monday. She was due on Wednesday, and she gave birth on Tuesday afternoon.
Well planned.
So she's very well planned.
It's a tough company she works for.
Yes. Her daughter's name is Elena, and mom and daughter and father are doing very well.
Please send our congratulations.
Absolutely.
I will. And then lastly, it was my pleasure to work with Ed, not only when he was chief, but also as deputy chief. I offer him my congratulations and best in his retirement. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Rhodes. Mr. Miller, village attorney, our village manager.
Just to echo all the comments and thoughts the village board had regarding the chief. Served over 3 decades to the residents of the village. A lot of that activity people don't see, but he was very active in the community. He, like he said, he was called out at all hours of the night. Like all of our executive staff, they all put in a lot of hours, but he had the additional duties of being called out when there's accidents or when officers are involved in life-saving activities and going to the hospital and things like that. So congratulations to Ed on that. Mary mentioned the CERT team. I think they deserve special recognition. They did an excellent job at the Prairie State Games. They do every year. And these are residents that volunteer their time without getting paid. They volunteer at the concert events during the summer and during emergency situations when we had the flooding many years ago, filling sandbags and things like that. Just an enthusiastic group of residents, and they all enjoy doing it. I think they like doing what they're doing, so thank them in particular. And then on the property tax workshops, we tried to hold the meetings at different times of the day and during different days of the week and on weekends. Hopefully we met the needs of the residents. Some of them said that they couldn't make it during the week. Some of them said that certain days were holidays. So we tried to bend over backwards. We tried to put the workshop meetings on YouTube so that if people couldn't make it, they could watch it on TV. We tried to answer all the questions on social media. So hopefully we did that. Then the last thing I have is the village, in conjunction with the Humanitarian Service Project, will be having a paper drive collection for needy seniors in DuPage and Kane County. Toilet paper and Kleenex can be dropped off the main lobby of the Municipal Center between the hours of 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. And this is during the week of October 21st, which is a Monday through that Friday, the 25th. And then a special thank you to Linda Johansson from our Engineering Services Department for coordinating this annual event. Linda does a ton of charitable work for the village, and it's much appreciated. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Well, Chief Saylor, I think everybody knows how I feel about the chief. For me, he's been special. Since I've been up here, I think he's the 4th chief. We'll probably be going into the 5th chief. It's hard to lose people like Chief Saylor. We've lost a lot of good police officers that retired, and we've probably got a lot more, just as the fire department. You've got 2 retiring this week that were there when I was on the fire district. We lose a lot of good people because of the program. It's pretty hard to fight a fire when you're 55 or 60 and you're climbing ladders or chasing somebody down an alley or doing something. So we get it. I mean, I just look at it, I hate to see us go, because it seems like you just get into your peak and that's the time that you leave, when most of us could work until we're 65, 70, 75. You could never do that job. I mean, so we appreciate it. And Chief Saylor's he's been special to me. I'm also a Sox fan. I'm proud of that. I didn't share seats with him. I don't play golf with him because he never asked me to play golf with him. But that was nice.
You'll learn it. You'll get your invitation.
And I really appreciate the chief. I found out things tonight about him that I never knew before. He opened up like he never opened up before. And that to me is important. It was important to him tonight to have all the support that he had, to see all the fire department here, and then all the past police officers and present staff that were here. That says a lot about the man. He will be missed. We'll be going through a short period of what we're doing next, and that'll come. Right now, we have to look at, we had our meetings, and I want to thank all the residents that came out. I want to thank all the residents that put stuff on Facebook or sent in information, questions and answers, and we tried to answer everything we could. We went through Monday, 9 o'clock to, I don't even know what time, 11 or 12. Special meeting, we did 6 o'clock until whatever time we got done. We came back on Sunday. Somebody made a comment that we looked like we didn't want to be here. That's not the truth. It's easy. Facebook, to me, is like the electronic highway is a terrible thing, because I want you to look me in the eye and tell me something instead of putting it on Facebook and then you go away and take it down like it never happened. There was a comment that was made here about somebody to me, and everybody in this town that's a special person, and that's Jim Zay. I want you to remember the name, Jim Zay. Jim Zay rode the charge at the Water Commission to straighten that out when it was at its very worst. It was a train wreck, and when Jim Zay came in, he straightened it out. Jim Zay played a big part in the way the last 4 or 5 times that we've had 3 inches, 4 inches of rain, because of Jim Zay and his leadership at the county board and working with our staff here and working with the state and government. They put Armstrong Park together to hold water. That thing was filled again, this last big rain we had, right to the top. He never quits working for Carroll Stream. And for somebody to take that podium, and we're supposed to be talking about property tax, and make a statement that he made, I still want his name, and I'd like to talk to him because I'd like to know where he's coming from. He said some bad things about people, and that's what bothers me when you open a forum up, because it gives somebody an opportunity to take the podium, and we had it happen 2 times out of 100 people, which isn't a bad number. The other guy was just, but he really seemed to think that he had a problem, and I want to thank Deputy Chief Zackert for taking him on the side and talking to him, I think you made him feel better. I think he misunderstood because I never got back to him. Everybody knows my policy. It's been since I stepped in that office. Anything that comes in here for me that's marked personal and confidential, or if it's an email, they intercept it. I don't want it. My secretary opens it, she gives it to Bob, Bob looks at it, and then they start working on the problem. A lot of times, I don't even know what the problem is, and if I did it, they took care of it before I ever even get to it. If it's a public works thing, if it's a police department thing, or whatever. That's the confidence that I have. Or they just throw it on my desk like it's something that I should take care of. It could be personal, but it's okay with me if they read it. Anytime they need my phone or my iPad, they could have it. I mean, that's the way I feel. I'm an open book. What you see is what you get. I wish I didn't have to have this tie on tonight, though. But I really want to appreciate and say thank you to the people that came out. I was expecting more, and I guess a lot of people have confidence in the decision we're going to make. The hard part is coming for us. Now, after we heard everything, now we got to figure out what type of a tax we want to put on. What's the next step? We're going to go right in from that, we're going to go into cannabis, which is going to be another huge thing for this community. Because I've been following with all the other mayors and some of the village managers on what are you doing, what are you doing, what are you doing? This is the most confusing thing that I think we've all seen. Some are going with it, some, then they change their mind and they're not, then they're going with it. I mean, it's like the state passed it, you're going to be able to do it in Carroll Stream, so why shouldn't we have a dispensary? I mean, I don't know. I just, to me, it's drugs are drugs. It's like, you can go to Osco and not knocking them, or Walgreens and get drugs if your doctor prescribes them or pick something up on the street, but it's just different for some reason. We have a community, we're a middle-class, faith-based, blue-collar community of people. We have no downtown, we have no shopping center here, we have no train station. It's people, that's what we're about. And that's what we got to remember. I always joke about, people go, well, what's Carroll Stream like? Mayberry. Mayberry? You mean like on television? Yeah, the people. Everybody has a good time. We enjoy each other. Mary mentioned that. We've talked about volunteers. You didn't get into how many thousands of dollars every year the volunteers' hours accumulate, how much they help the police department. We couldn't do the Thursday night concerts without the volunteers. I mean, when you do all the roadside checks that the state pays you to do, you got volunteers out there. When you're doing the everything that you do, you have volunteers there. They're there. They help set everything up. It helps the police department and helps you do a better job. So, I mean, without those volunteers, we could never do it. The search thing is a big deal, but all that they do for all the rest of the year is what excites me. And I know it's not easy to get people to come in and do that. Some people come in, and some people stay and with the certs, and some decide they just go through the program, and they don't have to stay if they really don't want to. But we make it available for them. Citizen Police Academy, I guess, is basically the same way. They get to learn, you get to ride with the police officers, find out what they really do. So, the hard part's coming. I want to personally thank the staff and this board for not wavering through this whole thing. I always look at who's going to crumble when the pressure gets on, and not one of this board or this staff. Everybody came prepared. John, thank you for putting the numbers together. Joe, IT, thank you for being so quick. The police department, everybody. I can't thank you enough. You had the answers as the people asked the questions for Public Works, for community development. I don't think anybody knows how hard you work in community development, and the things that you get done and what you're working on, very important. I want to say thank you. As the mayor, I want to thank the staff. And Bob, thank you, because, you know, as you're the leader of the group, so as I always say, it's going to come back to you if it fails. So, but, and you accept that position. But thank you. Thank you all for what you do, and we're not going to, we're done. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee McCarthy, seconded by trustee Fruzzoloni. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Zalik.
Aye.
Trustee LaRocca.
Aye.
Trustee Giesser.
Aye.
Trustee Fruzzoloni.
Aye.
Trustee Schwarz.
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
It's adjourned.